happen to love the number 5.
I have to speak up. I'm wearing it home.
Marvin, you're naked.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
You have until the count of 5.
Bam bam. Hello everybody, it's the Got Till 5 podcast. My name is Max, he's Jesse crawling in my Quim Bend.
I just came up with it on the spot. I'm a comedy genius.
You're a comedy genius, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm wearing the same t-shirt that I wear in the intro video there. That's not deliberate, that's an accident. That's fun though, isn't it?
No
Continuity.
one knows it's live. Continuity, my friend. Welcome to probably the episode I've been most excited about.
I'm just looking forward to it. No one's going to listen because no one's as nerdy as us, I don't think. But I just enjoy. This is my favorite band in the world, so I like being nerdy about them.
Exactly. Bit of backstory. Linkin Park, I think, was a catalyst for yours and my's love.
I think so. We met at school when we were 12, probably 12 or 13. And we actually knew each other but didn't like each other for about a year before we became friends. Do you remember?
I do.
And then at the age of about 12 we became friends, and that friendship was cemented by me burning you a copy of Hybrid Theory, which because I have to buy friends with like stuff, so I just have music, be my friend now. I don't know. I didn't have siblings. I don't know how that shit works.
It works.
So it did work because you're still here today, which is lovely.
Also, do you find it weird that we did that, 20 years ago? No,
nearly 20 years ago.
15 years ago. And now we're still talking about Linkin Park on the 20th anniversary of Hybrid Theory being released.
It is. Oh, man, my vinyl collection's downstairs. I should have grabbed it, shouldn't I? I bought the Hybrid Theory 20th anniversary collection with all the records and other stuff. It's awesome. It's well worth a purchase if anyone
should have made a bloody effort, shouldn't you, Jesse?
Oh no, sorry, it's down in the living room, but it's down there because I've been like listening to and watching all the stuff that's in it, so it's down there for a good reason.
Yeah. So on today's episode, we're going to be kicking back, listening to some Linkin Park songs. This is only for the live crowd to enjoy. Podcast people, apologies, you're going to be getting snippets. And we're going to be talking about the history of the songs, why we think they're underrated, why people need to listen to more of them. And you've actually got an interesting theory that really anything past the 2 albums is underrated.
Well, yeah, it is like, and even maybe just after the first album, because like you were saying, it feels like Meteora, their second album, was just as well received and high profile as Hybrid Theory, their first album, which, if anyone listening doesn't know, Hybrid Theory is like record breaking, ridiculous, like the most mainstream of all mainstream albums. I think, what's its stat? There's something mental. Like, I think it remains. Oh, you know it, do you?
It sold 10,481,000 sales as of 2017.
There you go. And I think that it's like it was like the first album in the 2000s to sell millions or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. Which, like, that's next to like Britney and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? That was massive at the time, and it's just mental that a band like Linkin Park did that. But anything after that, it feels like anything could be underrated because it was so massive. It just went down. Here we go. Someone's commented, Meteora is an excellent album. Totally agree. But like, it is awesome. All their albums are good in their own ways, but they just didn't sell as well as Hybrid Theory, which is a shame.
And the problem I was saying to you about picking these underrated Linkin Park songs, because we haven't really put any parameters around what makes them underrated. I think it's as long as they're not platinum or gold, or they're not a massive #1 Billboard chart, we've kind of put them in here. So it was difficult to kind of narrow down what is an underrated Linkin Park song, because when you love the band as much as we do, we think that every song is kind of common knowledge or very mainstream popularity. And in my research, it's not the case. Not the case at all.
No, you get caught in your own little bubble, don't you?
You do, and that's why it was so hard to kind of narrow it down and go, oh, clearly everyone knows this one, but no.
No, very strange times. Linkin Park, like based on who I've seen is watching this right now and listening, based on their usernames, it's not going to be the case with the people listening now. But generally, I didn't realize how much hate Linkin Park get as a band as well. Like,
really?
they seem to Yeah, it just seems like I think a lot of people just like, maybe it's because they were around a lot when they first came out. So people just got sick of seeing them so much. So even though they've done all this amazing music and stuff, sort of a lot of people who haven't actually given the time to listen to them just lump them in with that new metal sort of phase of the early 2000s and just think, oh, they're just another one of those shit bands. But I think those people haven't actually listened. They just sort of, the name Linkin Park just brings up that in them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that was very much the case, especially when Meteora came out. A lot of people heard the band and you were just like, no, this is not good. But you're right, they never gave it a chance. And that's unfair. And also, people viewing, thank you for tuning in. We're glad you're on the Linkin Park ride here. One thing I want to say is, if you have any favorites as we're kind of going through, or any memories of Linkin Park, 'cause obviously everyone knows what happens, and it's good to kind of reminisce about all the good stuff about Linkin Park as well, then please pop it in the comments, and we're happy to hear your thoughts and comments. And yes, Linkin Park, they did get a lot of hate for One More Light, and I will be getting to that because I think One More Light is one of my favorite albums. Yeah, I've dropped it at the start of the show.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great album.
But everyone did the same thing where they just go, oh, it's new, it's a different sound. But if you listen to Linkin Park and their albums, every sound evolves as it goes through.
Yeah, totally. Like that guy just said in the comments, like they can't stay the same all the time. And if they did, people would be bitching just as much. They'd be like, oh, why don't they ever evolve and change their sound up? They did evolve, and people still shit on it.
Exactly. So
Can't blame.
Let's kick off with number 5. Jesse, you're starting the show this week. Give us a little background. We'll listen to the song, chill out, everyone together, and then come back and chat.
Lovely.
You know, no, first you talk about
I'm talking first.
Yeah.
Oh, I talk first, and then you play the song.
There you
okay,
go.
Cool. Professional. There was an album in 2002, I think, called Reanimation, which was a remix album of Hybrid Theory, where basically all of Mike Shinoda's mates and him just took all the Hybrid Theory songs, remixed them, and brought them in. Some were great, some weren't so great, but all in all, I think it's pretty cool. The remix of In the End, called, if you can see on the screen now, In the End, which is like they named them all they named them all tech speak because that was cool at the time. So they did that with In the End. What I really like about this one is, first off, I enjoy that they've broken up the piano loop, you know, the iconic piano loop at the start of In the End that sort of goes through most of the song. They've broken it up, and it sounds like I thought my disc was scratched when I first listened to this.
Such a cool
this CD. Kid. Yeah, exactly. Because it was like, and I was like, oh fuck! Like I was like really like watching it and taking it out. Yeah. And it's not until the drums come in 2 bars in or whatever that you realise, oh no, it's all right. But what's cool about this, obviously the original song In the End is not an underrated Linkin Park song. It's one of their most successful singles of all time. Mm-hmm. But what's cool about this one is not only is it a remix, but there's additional verses that Mike Shinoda wrote. And I think it's in the first verse, he goes off on a different tangent than he does in the original song. And in the last verse, he's singing about the original song. He's singing about when he wrote the lyrics to the original In the End and how his mindset has changed now. And that's just fucking cool. Like, who else has done that in a remix song? You're not only remixing the song, but you're telling us how you feel about the old song now in the remix, which is a bit Inception and weird, but I think it's wicked. Method Man's verse in the middle, who features in this song, I could kind of do without, to be honest with you. I like Method Man, but he's not at his best in this song. It's all about the Mike Shinoda verses for me in this.
Beautiful, beautiful lead-in, Jesse. So, everyone just, basically, we're just going to be a radio show for the next hour or so, but only playing Linkin Park songs, which I think is how the world should be.
I'm well into this.
Here's Jesse's number 5 pick, End from Reanimation.
First started off, it was just Linkin Park. And then in the middle came Motion Man. And at the end of it all, it was some Master Kurt with a remix. One thing I keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme when I was obsessed with time. All I know, time was just slipping away, and I watched it count down till the end of the day. Watched it watch me, and the words that I say, the echo of the clock rhythm in my veins. I know that I didn't look out below when I watched the time go right out the window. Trying to grab home, trying not to watch. I wasted it all on the hands of the clock. But in the end, no matter what I pretend, the journey is more important than the end or the start. And what it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, I so socialized. Like the host of the party, I spoke, shaked, and made eye contact. Partied and toast, strong arm at northeast, southwest coast. I'm staring out the window, no opportunity to mendo. I tried to sold up, you weaken your system and had to throw it up. I brought you back in the fangs, like imaginary man in your dreams. Dude always seemed to make it worth it. A pigskin, I never nerf it. You felt leather, never pleather, real bringing the pleasure. By any means, it means I'm leaving your team. How of a teammate it seems, but I tried so hard. And got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Linkin Park. Motion man. Linkin Park. Linkin Park. Motion man. Linkin Park. One thing, I don't know how. It doesn't even matter when you look at it now. Cause when I designed this rhyme, I was scared of it all. Scared to fall. I hadn't even tried to crawl, but I was forced to run. With you mocking me, stopping me, backstabbing me constantly. Remembering all the times you fought with me. Watch the clock now chock full of hypocrisy. But now your mouth wishes it could inhale every single little thing you said to make things fail. Every single word you sputtered just to get your piece. But it really doesn't matter to me. Cause from the start to the end, no matter what I pretend, the journey is more important than the end or the start. And what it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard.
The end reanimation.
Nice.
Excellent choice, bands.
Do you like it?
I did like it. I also liked when I was watching that. I don't know if you can see me, but I can see you in the little viewfinder. Now,
I can't see
Oh,
you.
it's great. Jesse was like a little robot, and he just sat, just waiting for the song to end, just bobbing his little head away. And I was like, me and Jesse used to do radio together. Whenever I'd have him in the studio, he would not sit quietly. He'd be a fucking little nightmare to deal with. So it's nice to see you quiet for once.
Well, I'm on my own, right? So, like, when that's happening, I can't see you. So I'm suddenly in solitude. And I need, like, so when I'm doing radio with you normally, you're there to annoy. So I can, like, grab your little head. Not a little, it's massive. Like, grab your massive head and squeeze it and stuff, like, when the songs are playing. But there's nowhere near to do that to. I did take my ears out halfway through because they were digging into my neck.
Beautiful, beautiful, you disgusting creature. That was Jesse's number 5 pick. At the end, I don't even know how to say it. Reanimation. Excellent choice. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Please let us know your thoughts and feelings on it. Now it's time for me to save the day. And I'm going on the complete opposite end of the spectrum to the last album, Nobody Can Save Me. Yes, Max, that is the next
nice,
topic.
the opening track.
Yes. And interestingly enough, this song is described as a glitch. And it's the way it's described is kind of a rebirth in the band's career. Because if you think about it, going from Hunting Party to this album is such a massive jump in terms of style and what everyone was into. And I love this album. I think it's one of the best ones they've ever produced. I can listen to it top to bottom again and again. But I know the criticism of it being too poppy and going away from the start. And it's like, come on, man, you gotta evolve with the times and go with it. But what's your view on the album, Jesse?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's really, really good. And again, that criticism annoys me because saying it's too poppy or that they're moving in a poppy direction is bollocks. Because like you just said, Hunting Party, right, was like the album before, and it's probably the heaviest thing they've ever done. So I think they sort of got to that point in their career that they were just experimenting with sounds. So they were like, okay, this album is going to be our sort of heavy hardcore album in the Hunting Party. Now we're going to do a pop album with One More Lie. But if Chester was still with us, they would have moved on to other albums and explored other genres and just done other stuff. So that's all this was. This wasn't a it feels like a destination now because we now know that it's going to be the last Linkin Park album. But at the time, it wasn't a destination; it was a journey, and they were moving through to other stuff. So I think it's brilliant. I think as far as pop music goes, you can't get much better than this.
No, I think it hits, and I really struggled to pick which song I wanted to have on here. I was going between like Battle Symphony, Halfway Right, which I think is like one of the most beautiful Chester songs, where it's talking about his addiction and everything like that. Sharp Edges, Good Goodbye. It just goes hit after hit after hit. And spot on in the comments, someone says One More Light seems to be like Chester's goodbye letter, but that might just be me and my own view. I 100% agree with that. If you listen to the songs, it does. I mean, Chester's always had that kind of way with his lyrics that any moment could be that's a warning sign or that's a warning flag. But One More Light, each track really did have that element to it. Like Heavy, we were listening to it the other day, Jesse, and it is kind of a difficult listen now, Heavy, even though it's such a great song.
Yeah, I think the One More Light, the song, like that person was saying in particular, but all of this album has that vibe about it. But I think it's because it came out so close as well. But you can look at any, like, the lyrics Chester wrote his whole career had that sort of energy about them, like Somewhere I Belong, Breaking the Habit, just all these songs sort of have the same, Runaway, Crawling, like they're such famous songs that you almost forget that they were written by Chester as well. Do you know what I mean? And they have that sort of energy about them. But yeah, the One More Light stuff can be a tough listen now after what happened. But yeah, all of this stuff is like that. But again, like you think of bands like, I don't know, like Papa Roach or something like that, right? Like imagine if the guy from Papa Roach killed himself, right? Suddenly, everyone would be looking at their back catalogue and reading into the lyrics of those songs in a completely different light than they do right now.
Yeah.
Or any band. Do you know what I mean? So it's not always intended to be like that. But again, I think Linkin Park said it themselves when after Chester died, the sort of thing they put out, Rest in Peace Chester and all that, they mentioned in their sort of public announcement, they said the same thing that that made your song so amazing is what's taken you away from us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. And this song itself, the band felt that it was one of the kind of foundational songs of the album that started that emotional arc. It also features John Green, who's the singer of English band The Bonfires, makes an appearance as well. And just in overall, in terms of talking about this album, the band and Shinoda specifically said that this took a long time to finish. His exact quote was, there are certain songs that are almost like notorious in our catalog for having so many versions, such as Somewhere I Belong, Bleed It Out. But actually, Nobody Can Save Me. The song itself, the words, the melody, and the chords came really quickly, but it took so long to actually get the track right. And that's why they kind of put so much effort and love into this song. So that's another
thing. Sorry, that's another thing about One More Light, the album, which is so cool as well. There's so many guest artists on it. Yes. And I kind of like that. I like that they're bringing, like Reanimation from, the album from the song I just played. Like it's, I it's nice to get your friends involved with this stuff. Share the wealth. Do you know what I mean? Share. If you're a successful band like Linkin Park and you whack someone that you respect musically on a song, they're going to get more popular just automatically from that. And that's awesome.
Yeah, John Green is on so many. He's on like Nobody Can Save Me and Battle Symphony. What else is he on? He's on quite a few on this record, but also stuff like Good Goodbye I mentioned. They're such massive fans of Stormzy and Pusha T that they're like, we've got to get Stormzy on no matter what. And I love Stormzy, one of the greatest artists of the past 5-10 years. I do find his verse in Good Goodbye a little forced. I don't know. It didn't really fit or match that well. But the overall song, including Stormzy's bit, is fantastic. That's just me personally. No.
Yeah, the only bit I don't like in Stormzy's bit is the bit in Stormzy's bit when he says, now I've got a tune with Linkin Park. Yeah. Which he's saying, I've got a tune with Linkin Park. That's awesome. But it sounds like he's saying, now I've got a tune with Linkin Park, like it's a chore. Like, now I've got to do a tune with Linkin Park. And it's always sounded like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm grateful. But but he didn't mean it that way. It's just the way it sounds.
He means well. You need to open that. While you open that, we're going to play our second track of the evening. And this one is Nobody Can Save Me from the fantastic album One More Light that came out in 2017. Please enjoy. What a beautiful.
Beautiful.
By the way, me and Jesse we're just texting. His literal message to me then was, "Can't even get through a 2-minute song without talking to each other."
Just messaging each other because we can't stand it. I just can't be away from you.
Great song though. What a great opener to
Mate.
that album of just like starts slow and then it just builds and love it.
His vocals on that are incredible. It's a beautiful singing. The instrumental, the way it sort of builds up is lovely. I like that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to convey this properly, but like normal pop songs, they'll
freeze apparently. Apologies.
Oh, did we freeze? Are we back?
Hello.
So you normally with pop songs, like a singer will lift a line in a certain way or whatever, but Chester in that song goes down. So and nobody can save me now, like goes down on that bit, whereas most people would soar at that point. And I love that. I just love that it doesn't do what you expect it to do, that song, as well as being a really good pop song. And
I think that's the thing with that whole album. It kind of takes what should be the standard rules of a pop album and then goes completely the opposite direction with it. So if you're a Linkin Park fan watching or listening to this right now, and you've never really given One More Light a chance, I just honestly just sit down top to bottom, and then you can message us with your hate. But I guarantee you're gonna love it. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
So number 3 for you, Jesse, is I don't know how people are gonna feel about this. Is it underrated or was it rated and then become under? Tell me.
This is a contentious one. I like the words you just used. You said the same thing about 3 times in a slightly different order.
What I do.
From the Inside, which was on Meteora, and it was a single, so I feel like I'm cheating a bit, taking an actual single. But I feel like people have forgotten about it. It's the forgotten single from Meteora. Everyone remembers Somewhere I Belong. Numb is obviously a massive tune. Faint. But there's something about From the Inside, and I think it's just maybe until One More Light has kind of scuppered this, but until One More Light came out, I thought it was their most sort of beautiful, soft song. I know there's like screaming in it as well, but the verses I think are just like really beautiful and gentle, and I really like them. And it's just got this, I don't know, ethereal quality to it. I think the music video is wicked as well. Do you remember Chester walking around in the beanie? I used to do that. So after that video came out, I was 13 when that video came out. So I was like, it was the winter, and I'm like, I'm going to put a beanie on and just walk around town looking sad. I guess that's what Chester
No one's filming. Just hanging out.
That's what Chester did in that video, man. So that was my life. But it's just lovely, man. It's not even lyrically, it doesn't even speak to me that much. It's pretty, lyrics are pretty generic, really. There's nothing particularly deep about this song, in my opinion. But I just think the sound is great. Their live CD DVD combo, Live at Milton Keynes, which they released in 2007 after the release of Minutes to Midnight, they open with One Step Closer, which is a shit hot opener. And then this is the second song that they play, and it's just the perfect second song for a set. Like, you started with that energy of One Step Closer, and then you've got this sort of gentle sound coming in, but with screaming as well. It's just a great tune, like live tune. It just really fucking works in that set list. It's amazing.
Oh, definitely. I think Linkin Park Live is definitely a conversation we need to have. Mine and Jesse's favorite hobby is to sit alone and watch live music, and Linkin Park is the perfect example of that, of just solid wall-to-wall hits.
It's the perfect lockdown hobby, by the way, if anyone hasn't done this, is to just get drunk, sit in front of your telly, put YouTube on, and just find full gigs on YouTube, and particularly of Linkin Park. There's some amazing ones, but any bands you like, if they're big enough, there's going to be some really well-recorded, good-sounding full sets of them. And it's great. Just get drunk, sing along, pretend you're there, but you're on the comfort of your own sofa. It's amazing.
We've been doing it a lot. We've,
so much.
We got a bit of a problem, so we need to look at that about stuff. I'm getting messages apparently that my song bummed everyone out. One More Light.
One more. Oh no, you chose Nobody Can Save Me.
Nobody Can Save Me, but everyone's saying that like the album that they were listening to, they associate so heavily with Chester and his death, that people are kind of struggling to. So sorry, everyone.
Yeah, that's true. It is a downer. It's you're not going to get cheered up by listening to that album, but everyone needs sad music. Sad music's important.
Yeah, but now we got From the Inside, which I think is a uplifting kind of track, and you good, close enough, closest that we're going to get. But you're right. I think it is honestly the one that has been forgotten. This is why I was kind of umming and ahhing when we were talking about it, and also I was listening to a playlist earlier of underrated LP songs to get inspiration because I was really struggling. And From the Inside came on, and I went, "Is this like?" This comes back to the earlier conversation where I was saying about how I just associate these songs with you and me listening to them 100 times in your basement.
Yeah. They were the biggest thing in our world, weren't they? So it's baffling to think that they're not the biggest thing in everyone else's world. Just before you play this as well, Mr. Hand's little scratch that drops when Mr. Hand drops into the sort of the heavy guitar at the start of the song. I'm a sucker for that shit, man. I love a good little DJ scratch dropping into something, and that's what he does at the start of this song. Love it. Beautiful.
We're halfway through the episode, people. We got 3 more songs left to play you from the underrated Linkin Park back catalogue. So when we come back, please let us know your favorites in the comments and some happy memories. But for now, here's From the Inside from Meteora 2003.
Surprise, everyone feels so far away from me. Heavy thoughts sift through dust and the lies. Trying not to break, but I'm so tired of this deceit. Every time I try to make myself get back up on my feet, all I ever think about is this. All the tiring time between and how trying to put my trust in you just takes so much out of me. So far away from me. Heavy thoughts forcing their way out of me. Trying not to break, but I'm so tired of this deceit. Every time I try to make myself get back up on my feet, all I ever think about is this. All the tiring time between and how trying to put my trust in you just takes so much out of me.
From the Inside.
Might be wrong about this, but listening to it then, that might be the only Linkin Park song in 3/4 or 6/12, I suppose it's in time signature. Most
time signature 6/8.
6/8. Fucking hell. Yeah, no, it's like 6/8.
That's the drama.
Yeah, but it's I don't read
I was watching you. Jesse was having a little drum sesh as he was going along there and having a great time. And for people who don't know, viewing, Jesse is a actual professional live living drummer, which is great. But when we were kind of friends back in the day before it all went to hell.
When we were friends. What happened?
Oh Jesus! I never knew you much as a Linkin Park drummer. Like you never really covered or wanted to learn their stuff. Why was that?
Never ever learn your favorite songs because they ruin the songs for you. That's sort of always been my experience. Descendants is my other favorite band, right? I just avoid playing Descendants songs, and same with Linkin Park, just because you learn them and then you're listening to them all the time because you have to get it just right, and it ruins the songs for you. So I always stay away from songs I really, really like.
So all those days of us playing Green Day and Linkin Park and Blink 182 together, that was all a lie to you.
Well, no. Yeah, no, it's weird, isn't it? You don't have to spend a lot of time with those songs, but Blink 182, maybe you do. But yeah, Travis Barker was a different thing because he was my hero, right? So I just wanted to completely emulate him. By the way, I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't want to. Oh, but firstly, listening to that from the inside, that's why Linkin Park is so fucking amazing, because like people who dismiss them with the new metal of the early 2000s or whatever, you listen to a song like that and just listen to the instrumentals of it, and like you've got the regular instruments, and then they've got this electronica on top of it. They've got a fucking organ here, like all the cellos and stuff like that. They've got piano, just these epic built up sort of instrumentals behind all their songs, even in the early days, which just no one can compete with, like in that sort of genre of music. No one else was doing that. It's amazing.
No. And I think Meteora was that kind of perfect example of that. I was saying to you earlier, I was struggling between songs to pick from, and I almost went for Don't Stay of Linkin Park's Meteora. But if I was to play an Alien, if they're like, what does Linkin Park sound like? I'd probably play them Don't Stay, because it comes in with that kind of Mr. Hahn scratch, and then it's got some of the guitar, and then you have Mike, and then you have Lincoln scream, and you have Chester screaming. It's words. And then I just think it's the perfect epitome of a song. And from the inside, it's exactly that as well. You go, what are Linkin Park? This.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. By the way, I was thinking earlier, do you think I'm cursed?
Context?
So I had 3 heroes when I was a kid. They were Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, Chris Benoit, the wrestler, and Travis Barker, the drummer from Blink 182. Yeah. Now, Chester's no longer with us. Chris Benoit is no longer with us in a big way. And Travis Barker...
Close.
Exactly. Escaped his fate in that plane crash. So my 3 heroes, 2 of them are gone, and one of them barely escaped a fiery death. What's going on?
Sorry, this comment popped up at the best time. Spot on, Linkin Park. Spot on. I think maybe you are, and this is why I'm glad you don't idolize me and you kind of have
I'll never happen. Don't worry about that.
It's good. Please don't. I want to live to see 50. That's the goal. But yeah, maybe you are. Maybe you shouldn't like anyone else.
I just need to stop liking people.
That would be helpful. Excellent choice. Meteora is weirdly an underrated album. It shouldn't
That's
be.
Bizarre. It was so massive to our childhood. I used to walk to school listening to Meteora in my Discman that I had in my inside pocket in my blazer.
Discman.
Who remembers a Discman?
Granddad. So if we break down the top albums, I told Jesse I'd come with statistics. I told you at the start of the show, Hybrid Theory sold 10 million units. Meteora came in at 6,234,000.
It's all right, isn't it?
They're not going to go hungry. Let's just say
it's not rookie numbers. Yeah,
exactly. Number 3 is Minutes to Midnight, as I was telling you. 3rd most popular album, 3,343,000. Then Reanimation at 1 million. And then Live in Texas, just over 1 million. Those are the top 5 selling albums. Because
but then after Minutes to Midnight was the sort of internet era, downloading and stuff sort of coming in, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So that was kind of the problem, because 1,000 Suns, which I'll be talking about in a second, did barely, like 900,000 sales.
That's crazy. It's such a good album. I know you're not a massive fan, are you?
No, but the song I've picked for now is one of my... Fuck it, should we... Actually, there's one more comment. I love Linkin Park songs, but my faves are from the early albums, as they made me an LP fan. Crawling, Numb, and Such. I think that's fair.
Yeah, they're totally... If this was a Best Linkin Park albums episode, not underrated songs, they'd be in there.
Episode ever.
They'd be in there, definitely. They're amazing songs.
Why do we never make life easy for ourselves, Jesse? Why do we have to go underrated or underground and all this crap?
Well, it makes it interesting for us, right? I don't want to just talk
true.
about the same old shit everyone else is talking about.
This is true. So speaking of 1,000 Suns, the number 2 pick is Wretches and Kings.
Nice. So you're not into this album, are you, generally?
No, but fucking love this song, mate.
Nice.
Great.
I love this whole album. I think this is the first example of people who are moaning at One More Light being too poppy. This was a fucking like Euro dance album. They just released out the blue, a political one. Like it's sort of there's loads of war themes through the whole album.
Yeah, it's quite heavily political. This song, ridiculously so. Yeah,
and they put it to a Eurovision beat, and like I love that. I just love how mental it is.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And this song, Wretches and Kings, so it was a very kind of heavy political kind of album. And when I play at the beginning, at the start, there's not a long talking bit, but it's a strong political song. And it's got an excerpt from Mario Savio's Bodies Upon the Gears, or Operation of the Machine speech that was delivered in 1964. And they put a real kind of hip-hop influence over it, but also it's so synth heavy, this song. It's ridiculous when you hear that kind of first opening guitar and how much synth they've put over the top of it. It's just mwah. And this brings back so much memories of me and my friend Mike in Canada. He used to have just this Jeep truck, and we would just slam this on as loud as we can, going around Nanaimo, which is like the smallest port town you've ever seen in rural Canada. We're like hated myself, but it's such a good song, and like probably the best driving song. If we're doing top 5 Linkin Park driving songs, this would be number 1, Jesse.
That's in the future. We'll stick that on the list.
When we get desperate, episode 100. This will be it. So you're right. 1,000 Suns, kind of has that element of being underappreciated again, but has a lot of fantastic tracks on it. And I'm guilty for it as well. I skipped over it when it first kind of came out. But it needs a lot more attention, and this song has so many remixes to it. So if you like this, there's at least 6 other versions of it out there somewhere. One of them has a great kind of NWA remix to it, so check that out. But this is our number 2 before me and Jesse battle out to talk about our number 1s. So here is Wretches and Kings from 1,000 Suns. Enjoy.
There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop.
To save face, how low can you go? Chuck a lot of game, but yet you don't know. Static on the way, make us all say, whoa. The people up top, push the people down low. Get down and obey every word. Steady getting mine if you haven't yet heard. Wanna take what I got, don't be absurd. Don't fight the power, nobody gets hurt. If you haven't heard yet, then I'm letting you know there ain't shit. We don't run when the guns unload. And no one make a move, unless my people say so. Got everything out of control, now everybody go. A lot of shit and yet you don't know. Fire on the way, make you all say, whoa. The people up top and the people down low. Get down, and I'm running it like that. The front of the attack is exactly where I'm at. Somewhere in between the kick and the hi-hat, the pin and the contract, the pitch and the contact. So get with the combat. I'm letting them know there ain't shit you can say to make me back down. No, so push the button, let the whole thing roll. Spinning everything out of control, now everybody go.
banging,
thumping,
oh,
just
you feel
fucking
pumped.
just heavy, right? Yeah, I love it. I just love the, like you said, so hip hop heavy, and like the sort of bass and the drums just heavy as shit. It's so good. It's just wicked.
Yeah,
It's such a
and
good album, man.
it is. Yeah, and I'd say that's probably the most aggressive on the album, definitely the most hip-hoppy that's on there, and I think that's why it kind of resonates. There's a quote from Mike and Chester that said that the speeches that were used in the songs on the album really helped to achieve the connection between the words and the music, and the speech really resonated with still problems that are going on today. And I like Linkin Park taking their little political push. They do it in quite a lot of songs, but in a very subtle way, that you wouldn't go, oh, Linkin Park's a political band, but they fucking are. That's where you agree, Jesse. Yes. Oh, he's dead. I'll carry on the show by myself.
Sorry, you're dropping out all over the place for me. Sorry, you were dropping out all over the place for me. I don't know what it's like for everyone else, but I think you're...
Oh, I've lost him. I have the live show to myself. So now I can just talk about Red Citizen Kings for the whole time. Coming up, we have Jesse's number one pick, if he does rejoin us in the end. He's back.
Back. I don't know what's happening. It's this crazy lockdown internet, right? So England are in lockdown for any Americans listening. So when we went into lockdown last time, the internet was fucked because everyone's just on it all the time, right? So I reckon that's what's going on now.
Is everyone wanking like a gibbon, taking up the internet bandwidth?
Well, if I wasn't here with you, I'd be with them, mate. I'd be joining them. I'd be
British solidarity.
I'd be surfing down the stairs on a wave of semen.
Okay, so number one, we finally arrived
from the same album.
From the same album, Jesse. This is Jesse's pick for his number one underrated Linkin Park song, "Iridescent." It's from the same album.
I'm getting freezies again. Sorry if you can hear me.
I like that you call it.
Did you just like dramatically? Did you dramatically just introduce Iridescent? And I was
really
just there
built
staring.
it up, and then you went, I've got the freezies.
Okay, Iridescent. This is another song on 1,000 Suns. Turns out it was a single. I didn't know that because, like, when this album came out, I was sort of beyond caring about stuff like that. I just like the album. But I think it was in one of the Transformers films as well, or like a slightly different version of it. But again, not really bothered about that. I think this is just a beautiful song. I think Chester sings it beautifully. It builds up really well. It's so apparently it's about like coming through a nuclear war and you're on the other side of it now. And it's like, okay, everything's fucked, but it's time to rebuild. But that doesn't have to be a nuclear war. That can be anything. That can be like your life. That could be a relationship. And I just saw the comment from Linkin Park. Yeah, sorry, that was gross, mate. But stay tuned because I can get worse. It's Iridescent is just so like uplifting, and it starts and it feels like it's going to be a really sad song. I get spoiling it for anyone who hasn't listened to it. So it starts as a sad song, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be like, like horrible, and then it builds up, and it's like, oh, actually, no, because you're coming out the other side, and you're a better person for the shit you've been through, and that's awesome, and that's what this song basically is. And I just think it's a really, really good tune, builds up beautifully, just a really good pop song.
I got to be honest, I didn't know it when you sent it to me. I wasn't sure, and then obviously I had to download it and make all of this videos while Jesse played the Switch. And you're right, it's beautiful, and it's not kind of what I expected from the song. And I think it lends itself, as you said, to that kind of 1,000 Suns has that kind of beautiful melody to it as an album. And we were speaking about this earlier, the hardship of, you were telling me about how Linkin Park don't pick their own singles, right? Why do I always ask him questions where he freezes?
Sorry, what were you asking me? I heard you were asking me. You're basically talking like the titles of the Reanimation track list.
I'm always in character. I'm always in character. No, what I was saying is that you were telling me that Linkin Park didn't pick the singles. It came down to the producers or the record labels?
Yeah, the record label. Yeah, so Warner Brothers, the record label, they'd have A&R men and stuff like that who would decide, they'd give them the album and they'd say, okay, these are going to be the singles, because Linkin Park or Mike Shinoda sort of have said in interviews that, like, we are shit at choosing singles. Like, the songs we think are going to be massive hits are not, and the ones we're less bothered about seem to be the ones that everyone fucking loves. So they're like almost too close to the project, so they leave it to the label, and the label do a good job. I think
they do a great job.
Pick singles well. Yeah,
because I was doing a shuffle the other day of like just listening. Every time I found one, I was like, yes, this is an underrated banger. Googled it. It's like, this is sold, gone platinum, and is their single. Out. Fuck. This is not going to work. So, yeah, well done, Warner Brothers, for picking some great songs. Oh, not well done for shitting on Johnny Depp's career, but well done for picking Linkin Park singles. Appreciate it.
That's all a ruse. Don't worry. Johnny Depp will be back in Fantastic Beasts before you know it. They've publicly fired him, and they're like, "Don't worry. Like, when all this flushes out and everyone realizes that Amber Heard's a cunt, and you're like, all right." Then they're gonna bring him back, and it will just. And also because like people don't want to watch J.K. Rowling films right now, right? Because everyone hates her at the moment too. Right. So this suddenly Johnny Depp's going to be this returning hero to the Fantastic Beasts films. Everyone's going to go watch them. So this is all just a marketing thing to get that lost audience. That's my conspiracy theory.
Oh, it's better than conspiracy theories. I have to look at Instagram all day, so I appreciate that a lot more than the rest of it. But this is Jesse's number one pick. Mine is coming up in a little bit, and then we'll let you guys go enjoy the rest of your evening. But coming up for number one for Jesse is Iridescent from Thousand Suns.
Standing in the wake of devastation, when you were waiting on the edge of the unknown, and with the cataclysm raining down, insides crying, save me now, you were there impossibly alone. Do you feel cold and lost in desperation? You build up hope, but failure's all you've known. Remember all the sadness and frustration, and let it go. Sky had blown the heavens into stars. We felt the gravity of tempered grace falling into empty space. No one there to catch you in their arms. Do you feel cold and lost in desperation? Frustration
bloody beautiful.
Doesn't that build up beautifully? Yeah, that's lush.
It does.
I just love the way it builds. It's so positive. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a positive song, but by the time it finishes, you're like, yeah, fucking right. Let it go. Move on. Get a life.
You go, girl. Excellent number one pick, Jesse. Yeah, I think the album needs a lot more love. I'm going to go back and listen to it and give it a little bit more TLC. That's what I do with my album.
I've realised that like Linkin Park's shift in genres has actually sort of played into my maturing musically as well. Do you know what I mean? So like Meet Eura came out when I was a young teenager and it was just perfect for me then. And then I started to develop my musical tastes a bit, getting into other stuff. Then Minutes to Midnight comes out, has that perfect sort of well-rounded sound, sort of more grown-up music. I don't know if that's sort of fair to say.
Yeah.
And then sort of I get into sort of electronica sort of music, which is something I still work with quite a lot today in my job. And that's when 1,000 Suns sort of comes out and it's got that electronica vibe. Then Living Things, which is a great album because that's kind of harking back to their roots, but it's still got this mature feeling to it. Then you got Hunting Party, which I have to say is the one album that I've never 100% got into from Linkin Park. But one day I will properly sort of get into that album. And then One More Light, which is just one of the best pop albums ever made.
Well, I was going to say, while we're doing my number one, I would like you, because I like being mean to you, I would like you to rank the Linkin Park albums when we come back to end the show. So that's your task while we listen to the final song. You must rank all of them from worst to best, or best to worst, however you feel.
Just all the mainline Linkin Park albums.
Mainline Linkin Park albums.
We're not putting Reanimation in there or Recharged or anything.
Oh,
like
it'd be exhausting. Be never like
just the main line. Yeah, all the Linkin Park and Jay-Z, exactly. That God fucking hell. By the way, why haven't we talked about that? When Linkin Park and Jay-Z EP came out, Collision Course, it was like fucking hell. That was like
game over.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know they could do that with music back then. Like, as a 13, 14-year-old, when it came out, I didn't know that you could do that with songs and make it so seamless and amazing. Numb Encore is just fucking a masterpiece.
I think Collision Course is the greatest pump-up album ever. Like, on the rare occasions I attend a gym and I have to do some exercise, Collision Course is the one album I'll put on and I'm just like, yeah! And it's fantastic. So more of that, please, in the world. Thank you very much. Now,
yeah, more mashups. Well, what they did is that was an MTV mashup, right? So they MTV told Linkin Park and Jay-Z to sort of do a mashup together with the idea of doing loads of them,
like children.
And Linkin Park and Jay-Z did it so well that it was like, oh, we can't do anymore because none of them are going to be that good. So what's the point?
Saved themselves some time, I guess. Well done them. But yeah, if no one's heard it, I'm sure you have if you're watching this and you're a Linkin Park fan. But for our regular listeners, go check it out for sure. Now, my number one is going to be a bone of contention between myself and Jesse Benz because he told me earlier that this song was not a favorite of his, which surprised me. So my number one pick is No More Sorrow. Would you like to rebuttal first?
One of my least favorites.
Wow.
About this song?
Yeah, why?
It was their first political song before they were ready to be political, in my opinion.
Okay. He's gone again. My favorite thing ever, Jesse being cut off when he's shitting on my stuff. So now I'll just tell you why I think it's great. So No More Sorrow, when it kicks in, is, I feel, the biggest pump-up song you can ever hope to experience. When that first little bit kicks in and it's like, wah, wah, and then the drums hit in. If I was going to be a professional wrestler one day again, then I feel that my entrance would have to be coming in to No More Sorrow because it has that pump-up vibe. By the way, my new favorite thing, besides me cutting you off talking about Pointless, is you just dropping out when you're on a rant.
Right, this is a conspiracy, right? Oh, so I don't like your number one, and I drop out. I get kicked out of the fucking chat. Ridiculous. I'm not into this.
I would never
will
do
be
that.
Suing you.
It's a democracy. Manifest.
No More Sorrow. So hang on, before you jump into that, I'm sure you were just saying about why it's great. I'm not a big fan of No More Sorrow. I'm sorry. It's political before they were ready to get political. Thousand Suns was obviously a political album. They nailed it on that. This song is about George Bush, and it's just a bit, I don't know, it just feels a bit 12-year-old yelling at his dad is my that's how I've always felt about this song. I'm really sorry, but it's just my own personal preference. Like, we can't like get everything, can we?
Can you come into it with fresh eyes, though? Come into it with fresh eyes. I was saying to the listeners before you abandon us that it's just the best pump up song when it comes in with that really like me guitar and then the dun. It's just a good fire you up song and just gets you kind of like in your belly, kind of ready to go and fight a bitch. So that's to me why it's so good. And when you're talking about Minutes to Midnight as an album, this was literally their first kind of departure from that new metal sound, and it's when they start to experiment with genres, and I think a lot of songs kind of hit on that within this. And obviously, if I could pick one song, it would be Given Up, without a doubt. It's my favorite Linkin Park song of all time, but I couldn't because it's very popular, so I have to go for my second favorite on this album. Actually, no, my third favorite. My second favorite is Bleed It Out, but again, very popular. So it's just kind of got that really cool element. Also, Jesse, did you know that this was also the debuted at number one on the charts? So it's their third consecutive number one record.
I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Third consecutive number one debut. Excellent. So it's, for me, it's a pump up album.
And their last, I imagine.
Yes, and their last. Unfortunately. R.I.P.
Yes.
Bloody good. So for me, it's hang on, we got a comment here. Justice said when I was at the LPU summit that he didn't want to tell people what the songs were about in case it ruined someone's ideas of the songs may mean. Never knew No More Song was about the Bush things. Today you learn. Jesse, you're ruining it for people.
I'm a teacher.
Fuck it.
I'm an elder.
But for the rest of you, please join in with me and just enjoy the visceral beauty of this song. Apparently this was a very frustrating song for them to record. When at the end of the record this was done, Chester left. Mike noticed that one of the words was not doubled on a vocal take, so Chester had to come back to the studio and record that one word, and that was the very end of No Sorrow. So Jesse, you ready to hear the greatest Linkin Park underrated song?
Born ready.
Boom, baby. Oh, I was in drumming position when we came back. I was like, yeah, fire me up.
Yeah, it's got heavy drumming. That is good drumming from Rob Borden. Great drumming. We always talk about, that's the thing with Linkin Park, right? We talk about Mike and Chester, who are obviously really important, but the rest of the band are fucking ace. They're just not like anywhere near the front, and they're quite happy staying in the back. So we've got Brad Delson on guitar, who's amazing. Phoenix, who's a stunning bass player, great cellist as well. Rob Borden, who is a really fucking good drummer and a good pianist as well.
And also brings his own air conditioning unit, which I really enjoy. He always has the most insane fans at any live gig.
Yeah, like bringing his hair up. It's great. And Mr. Han on DJing, who also directs the majority of their music videos, interestingly. He's a very talented dude. They are a good band, all of them. And obviously not. I quite like that they're not sort of fame hungry. Do you know what I mean? They've sort of like, you're the front men, Mike and Chester, you do your shit, we'll just get on with our shit.
All of them were very lucky to find each other, I think is the thing with Linkin Park. They're all so weird and talented and ridiculously talented, and to find that mesh of people is what makes Linkin Park so fantastic. You said it great when we were watching the Live in Rio gig. Chester, with his vocal style, is so lucky to find a band like Linkin Park, or if you flip it the other way, Mike is so lucky to find someone like Chester who can sing like that.
Yeah, Mike is one of the greatest songwriters and instrumentalists of our generation, I think. But he hasn't got the greatest singing voice. It's fine, but he hasn't got a singing voice that could do the amazing songs he's written. He just happens to have stumbled across one of the greatest vocalists of our time, who has been able to sing all of the great songs that Mike writes. It's just a perfect partnership.
Yeah, they married up perfectly and found themselves. But those were our 6 underrated Linkin Park songs. We started off at number 5 with Emphia, and then we came in with Nobody Can Save Me. From the Inside came in at number 3. Wretches and Kings at number 2. Jesse's pick, Iridescent, at number 1. My choice, No More Sorrow. But now, Jesse, the hardest part of the evening, you must now rank Linkin Park's albums from least favorite to favorite. Let's not say best to worst. They've all got their strength.
Yeah. So I'm counting 7 main albums. Is that what you've got? That's what I've
fair.
That's what I've worked out. So there's 7 main albums, not counting remix albums and other stuff. So in 7th place, I'm putting The Hunting Party, purely because it's the only album that I haven't given proper time to. And I'm sure if I give more time to it, I'll love it more. And you and me actually watched
Fuck you, Nicky.
I see Nicky's jumped in the chat. Yes, I am that guy from Pointless. Hi. No autographs, but if you come visit me, we can sort something else out. So Hunting Party is number 7 because I haven't listened to it that much. But I haven't really got into it. We watched the Live from Brazil gig on YouTube, which is just after Hunting Party came out, and those songs in a live setting are completely different to listening to the album, and that actually made me appreciate it more. So I think Hunting Party would go up on this the more I listen to it. Next, I'm going with Living Things, which I think had some great tunes on it, but it's not wall-to-wall bangers. But there are some good songs on there, some nice folky sort of influence songs as well, which I'm a big fan of. Next is 1,000 Suns, which is just electro synth madness. I love that they were so brave to do such a mental sound. The sales reflect how brave they were, and I think like that. But I love that. I love that they did that. It was like, fuck it, this is what we feel like making. We're just going to make some crazy like Euro pop music and have a bit of a laugh, and that's what they did. Next is Minutes to Midnight, because that I would credit that album with transitioning me as a kid into more grown-up music, quote unquote. Are you laughing because I used the words transition?
I just was picturing you looking all pretty.
As a woman. Yeah, I know what you would do.
Thank you.
And so, like, you had Meteor and Hybrid Theory, which were, like, obviously amazing. But Minutes to Midnight sort of, did get me into sort of adult music. Then we have One More Light, because I think that is just a fantastic pop album. And obviously with Chester and everything, it's even more poignant than it was when it was initially released. Just a great album. And then Meteora and Hybrid Theory, I'm putting a joint first because they were both just so important to me as a kid. I like music because of those albums. I wasn't bothered about music until I heard them, really. And I was quite a late bloomer with music. So, like, Meteora came out when I was 13. I had no interest in music before the age of 13. Just wasn't even bothered. So those two albums just got me. I just got obsessed with Linkin Park, and that just got me into any music I'm into now. Started with Meteora and Hybrid Theory.
Beautiful. I couldn't have put it better myself. I think you've nailed that number one slot, Jesse. This has been lovely. We should do this more.
Just music chat. It's nice. We talk about all sorts of bollocks. For Linkin Park fans who have found us, I know there's some of you here. We talk about all sorts of bollocks every week. It's not just like music or whatever, but it is nice. We should probably do music more. We haven't done all that much.
Probably should, shouldn't we? But thank you everyone for joining in the discussion, listening to the songs. We hope if you're not kind of a Linkin Park fan, that you did kind of take away some songs and are going to give some albums a listen. Or if you are a Linkin Park fan and you heard some songs off an album that you went, not my favorite, you're going to go back and listen to it. So me and Jesse are always around for chats, especially about music, especially about Linkin Park. We might even tomorrow put together just an overall underrated Linkin Park playlist that you can find on Spotify. We did that for the pop punk.
Nice idea.
Yeah, we did that for the pop punk. I did that for the pop punk playlist. But we will do it as well for this Linkin Park underrated track. So we'll come up with a whole bunch that we didn't feature on here as well that you guys can listen to. Just search Got Till 5 on Spotify and it will pop up. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with a brand new episode. I haven't decided what it is yet, but stay tuned to the socials to find out. Jesse, if they want to find information, where should they go?
There's a little website with all of our stuff on, and it's called gottil5.com.
Beautiful. And that will take you through to the Twitter page where we're most active and happy to chat with you on the daily. That's it. That's the end. Thank you to Linkin Park for making the greatest music and brought me and this beautiful bastard together.
We're best friends because of Linkin Park.
We're sitting here today, 20 years later.
I was thinking about that earlier, right? So in my so when I was like 12 years old, I would sit in my bedroom chatting to you on MSN or whatever, listening to Linkin Park. And now I'm 30 and I'm basically doing the exact same thing.
We just moved. That's the only difference. And then we found a way to live stream it to the world. That was the only difference that we found.
Thanks for the lovely comments, everyone. It's been really nice. Bye-bye.
It's been fun playing with you guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Please rate, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new to the show, find us Got Till 5 everywhere. Subscribe to the podcast or to the Twitch and YouTube channel, which we're on now. Have a wonderful time. We'll see you soon. Love you dearly. His name is Jesse. My name is Max. Ta-ta and farewell.